reflecting on what we've transcribed and saying, no, this is what was meant by those comments. In some of those we've incorporated them because we feel that that's fair enough, it's an extension of what was said in there. Sometimes we feel it's actually changing the meaning of what was written, and also we got just what's written in our reading of that and what we feel. So that, in terms of what I mean, is some comments we've incorporated, but we haven't removed. At the workshop, we've reduced everything in that report, essentially. There's nothing, we haven't edited anything at that point. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think we do have to move on. We've had a good discussion, which was rather wide-ranging in the end, but I think it's very important, the questions about the report. It's important they got right, and everyone feel they're happy with them and have confidence in them. They have reflected accurately, including in terms of the terminology, about what was said at the workshops. And as I just outlined earlier, we have a deadline of the 19th of December, but I would hope that within the capacity of being able to put in comments on the reports, that can be done as far as possible near to the 9th of January. So if there's no other comments on that particularly, David.
Can I, excuse me, just make one comment. The reports do capture all the detail, and I'm confident in that. But picking up the point that has been made, I think we're trying to avoid the bus issue. I think there was unanimity that people don't want a bus, and this doesn't come out from the report. It's buried. So I think we need to take that on board. The economic case has never been made, and everybody seems to say no bus every time you look down there.
I don't think that's entirely true in terms of the report, in terms of reflecting the views on the bus lane, but I take the point you're making, and it has been a very strong theme from all the workshops. I quite agree with that. Okay, if there are no other points or questions on the report, then can I just move on to item 6, which is just an outline and reminder really of the process going into January. I'm sure we're all gladly going to have a Christmas New Year break, but going into January, what the plan is for 3 meetings. On the 9th of January, here at the Shirley School at 6:30, there will be a resolutions workshop. So as we've been discussing, that will start off with the presentation of the 2 reports that we've been given, hopefully incorporating all the comments, point of accuracy, terminology and so forth that we'll be discussing tonight. And that will remind us too of the key themes that came out of the workshops, and to start the process of the local liaison forum and workshop invitees looking at the wording of the resolutions, starting to think about how those resolutions coming out of the workshops might look. So that will be on the 9th of January, 6:30 p.m. here at the Shirley School. Then on the 16th of January, the local liaison forum itself, the justice members and the cooperative members sitting down with officers and consultants to look at the initial resolutions as examined on the 9th of January, to see how those, how the detail might start being worked up that reflect the discussion from the 9th of January. I think it's important that we do have that as a local liaison forum, members and cooperative members with officers and consultants sitting down, and we're looking at doing that at the Chris Pearson room at the Shire Hall, so that we can sort of thrash out the detail, if you like, of resolutions and what they will look like. And then we will have a public local liaison forum on the 23rd of January, also 6:30 I think here at the Shirley School, where the proposed resolutions are still open to public comment, look at the detail, perhaps the wording, not to reword them all and completely to rewrite them, but hopefully to get some public input and comment on the resolutions. And then we will go forward into the March cycle of the Assembly and the Board, where I as Chair will be putting the resolutions agreed by the Histon Local Liaison Forum to the Assembly members and to the Board members. I don't know if anything else wants to be said. Stuart did touch upon it in terms of the March cycle. Just remind us of the dates of the Assembly and the Board meeting.
I can't put those dates with me. Early first week in March, or early March.
Okay, well, we'll get all that information out to anyone. Everyone in plenty of time. But that's basically the process as we go into the new year. Any comments or questions about that at all? Yeah, Edward, would you like to just come up here and use the microphone?
Thank you, Chair. It's really amplifying the point that both Kay and Margaret have made, which is that everything that's done on Histon Road is within a context. It's a wider context. It's actually about getting people from from Histon and Islington, Ovington and Girton and so on into the city. And I feel the workshops so far haven't really looked at the problem we're trying to solve. They looked at the problems that might be caused by changes within Histon Road, but we're not really looking at what it is that people need. Mr. Gormley is not going to like me for suggesting this, but I actually think there needs to be a workshop for South Cambridgeshire that is actually getting people together who are commuting into Cambridge, who are travelling in for leisure trips and so on, to see how they feel about these plans, because I don't think that they would have been switched on to discussions about individual junctions along Histon Road, because that's not their problem in a way. And I really feel that if we are going to look at things like Park and Rise and how people cycle between Histon and Histon Road, I mean that isn't that link is not pleasant. It's not dangerous. I've heard parents saying that they actually rule out sending their children to Histon and Islington from who live on Histon Road because that journey is not safe. So I sort of feel that we're missing some vital bits of information before you start drawing up resolutions.
Thank you. Hear, hear. Thank you.
Okay, it's an interesting point. I don't know if Stuart or anyone want to comment on that, or Stuart in particular. But I don't know that in terms of the timescale and the process, adding another workshop aimed at South Cambridgeshire or the Greater Cambridge sub-region for those people who might be affected in terms of coming into Cambridge can fit into the process. I think probably unlikely, I would guess, but...
Yeah, I fully understand what the logic is. I think the reality is we're looking at a finite corridor here. Yes, there are wider implications to consider, and we are looking at that. This is one of many schemes, and I'm sure South Cambridgeshire would have been commented and consulted upon all of those quite lengthy consultations. So I wouldn't be in favour of the workshop, not at this stage, given that where we are in the process in this particular job. And this is about Histon Road. This is about the residents of Histon Road, as well as the users of that route. So that for me is a critical point.
Thank you, Stuart. And yeah, I appreciate it's difficult, but we do have a rather restrictive remit as they handed to us by the City Deal Board, which I think rather precludes widening it out at this stage. Although I quite accept your point, Edward.
Could I ask?
Yeah, sure.
Is there anything to read?
Sorry?
Is there anything to read from the South Cambs consultation?
Right, that's a fair point. That's just a question about what's on the website, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, please visit the website. We've done Western Orbital, we've done 428, we've done Park Histon, we've done Milton, we've done the city centre access capacity. There's a whole range of, and the A1307 Haverhill into Cambridge as well. These are all major projects that have been consulted on initially in the first year. So there's a great deal of information if you wish to have a look at that, and some detailed reports on the consultation about the patterns of movement, people's priorities, bus travel, car travel, all of that sort of information is available if you so wish. But that's on a very, very big area. This is a very tight corridor.
Yeah,
It's huge, but it picks up a lot of what you said in terms of Park and Ride as well. But so it's useful to look at it, and I think and Edward's point is the reason I want to make, given that the scale of this project is overall so large, but this is about trying to focus it down to a corridor where you can deliver something that means something to those.
But is how people are going to get, is that how people are going to get round the city?
Yeah.
If anybody's trying to get round the city today...
Yeah, well, I think a lot of us are aware of that. Just mentioning that point, terminology, I think most people here don't see it as a corridor, Stuart, I have to say. I think it's a street where people live. And I think it's unfortunate the reports still have that terminology in it, because it's been said a number of times that it's a bit unfortunate, really.
Fair enough, fair point. I'll make sure that doesn't happen again.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I hope everyone's reasonably clear about, it is all a bit complicated, but the process going forward. What we'll try and get out on the City Deal website and hopefully sent around certainly to the local liaison forum members and cooperative members is an outline of the actual workshop programme that I've described, but I think everyone would like to see exactly how that's going to work and what the the resolutions workshop, the working group, and the local liaison forum on the 23rd of January that will sort of sum up those that part of the process, how that will actually look like and how that's going to work. I think that will be helpful if you can get that information now as well. So, are there any other business at all? Did anyone have any comments back on the minutes and had a chance to look at them or not? Otherwise we can look at them again in the next meeting.
There'll be no time while this meeting
No,
is going.
that's fine. I quite understand that, and that's quite fine. Okay, so if there are no other points, then thank you very much indeed for coming tonight. And as I say, the date of the next meeting will be on Monday the 9th of January, 6:30 p.m. here at the Shirley's Hall. That's workshop invitees and start look at the resolutions. Okay, thank you very much.
What hasn't happened
with one road, there's no reflection on the effects. But what it is that these people who are engineers, that they've got no feeling for the urban needs of the people. Well, then there was a meeting some time ago on the Darwin Drive, where the chap was showing us